A topic has come up recently that has been stating that religion, specifically Christianity, is under attack. No, I don't mean it's come up like last week. I mean, this has been something that's been talked about now for a couple of years. Mainly in America, based around the rise of non-affiliated or other affiliated conversions that have certainly made it seem as though Christianity is becoming the target of a lot more attacks, and social media, of course, has become one of the largest purveyors of a lot of this, a lot of these debates, a lot of this mudslinging. Now, I don't claim to know anything. I honestly don't, because there's no way that we can predict the future or accurately understand what has happened in the past. I can't tell you what the turning point was. I can't tell you if there even was one. If there's one thing that I can actually say, if there's one reason why you continue to watch this, it's because I'm here to tell you right now, Christians, calm down, you're not under attack. Seriously, you're not. Worldwide, you guys have a population, you have a parishionership of over 2.2 billion individuals. Now, I understand that you're looking at the Muslim religion that has 1.6 billion individuals in its parishionership, and you're getting a bit nervous. Now, what to not help matters, there have been studies that have been released that have stated that due to the way in which fertility rates among the religions are going, that this gap is going to narrow by 2050, and very quickly beyond that, Muslims will overtake Christianity. I know that just scares the pants out of you, but we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Sit tight. Here in America, you have a comfy majority. In a graph that I would show, if it didn't remind me so damn much of the Twin Towers, it showcases 66% of you are here in America. 66% of America is of some form of Christian denomination. Now, this is, of course, including all forms of the Christian faith. So, the Roman Catholics, your Apostolics, your whatever it may be, the Orthodox, etc., etc. So, yeah, 66% is a very hearty majority. Now, I understand that you would love to have 100%, but that's just simply not going to happen. It isn't. It is unrealistic that you think that all 6.8 billion people are going to think exactly like you, because they're not. Because they have had other traditions, they have had other experiences, they have... Your faith is not the only one that has had an individual come into its culture and proclaim and show or have a story written based around how they are God, how they are the light of the world, the wisdom of the universe. It's in fact been proven by many different documentaries that this is an idea that has been borrowed from previous individuals, previous societies, previous cultures, and is centered a bit around the old study and the old worship of the sun. The sun easily being translated over into the Son of God. It's pretty simple, but I understand that that's not what a lot of you want to hear. It sounds like I'm attacking you. It sounds like I'm stating that it's all silly and I'm just some stupid atheist. Well, I'm not an atheist. I'm a realist, for one. And for two, that really doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. I'm here to tell you that you guys are very, very safe. It's, well, okay. You are safe for now. But the way in which you're acting right now, the way in which things have been going these past couple of years, the mudslinging, the hatred, the segregation, the way in which you have found ways to really alarmingly distance yourselves from certain groups based around a lot of really rugged-edged perspective, really putting a lot of stone and a lot of money and a lot of effort behind a lot of things that are not seen within the text, and basically opening it up for interpretation while also closing off the book for things that perhaps you yourself are in violation of, like, for example, wearing two different forms of textile or getting tattoos. Yeah, these are all pretty commonplace things that you've heard. The first thing I want to tell you, the first thing that I really want to share with you is the fact that your fear of the Muslims is based around your fear of terrorists. You fear terrorism. You fear the Middle East. You fear a lot of things that have occurred here in America, a lot of things that have also occurred worldwide with Al-Qaeda and ISIS that have given you a bad taste of what the Muslim faith is all about, whenever that is not the case at all. If you are a Muslim and you're watching this, you probably think I'm a pretty big asshole right now for saying that, but it's just the truth. It's the way in which things are being perceived here in America, and it's troubling, it's terrible. So one of the main reasons why there is so much anti-American banter, it's one of the main reasons why there is a lot of anti-Christian banter. It's one of the reasons why there's really an idea that nobody can really get along. It's based around the fact that ever since September 11th, 2001, Muslims have been kind of treated as the new black people. Now the black people want to kill me, but it's the truth. It is the truth. This is something that's been covered in comedy shows. It's been covered in just about every form of media, that all of a sudden there has been a transference in whom is being kind of segregated against, discriminated against, who is being seen as something that they probably are not. There's a lot of unfair slinging going around, and then of course, within the course of the past couple of years, the attention has transformed to the LGBT community, it's transformed to the gay community, it's transformed to this or that. It's been all about, it is no longer about who we love and who we wish to save. It has become about who we damn and what you should not be. There's one of the large problems. See, I'm not just here to explain why a lot of people may be leaving, or why those numbers may actually become a little bit closer together. And it's not just based around the fact that Muslims are going to fuck more than you Christians are. It's actually based around the fact that you're going to chase off just as many people as you try to bring in, because you're showing yourselves to be very, very separatist, you're not a very inclusive faith, and this is not universal. This is not universal speech. This is not universal rhetoric. So before you accost and attack me for that statement, take a look not only at your brothers and sisters, but also take a look in the mirror. Because I know a lot of you are going to be watching this, and a lot of you are going to say, well, that's not me. I love everybody as He has loved me, as God has loved me. I am somebody who is extremely forgiving. I am somebody who is extremely tolerant of all individuals, everybody that I meet. I'm not one that separates or bashes a group. Well, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. This is not a message that's purely for you. In that case, this is one that is speaking more toward the ones that want to insert hellfire and brimstone everywhere that they go. The people that want to really control what people's lives should be all about. And there are those that would argue that religion itself is its own form of mind control. But people are going to live their lives regardless. People have identities. Just because you identify as a Christian doesn't mean that Malik over there does. He may identify as a Taoist. He might identify as a Muslim. He might identify as a Hindu. Just because you see a Jewish individual on the street and invite him into your parish does not mean that he's going to convert from Judaism to Christianity, nor should he. Jesus was a Jew, and that's just the way it is. And then, by that same token, just because somebody has a different idea of what marriage is or what love is than you do, doesn't mean that you can say that they are not welcome. I understand that there are amendments, that there are certain rights that are here in America that actually do prohibit a lot of that separation, but at the same time encourage a lot of freedom of speech, that also encourage a lot of the things that are being said. And I think a lot of these are rights that are stepped on quite a good bit. This also means that they have the same rights too. They have the same rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the pursuit of happiness, for a lot of you claim that marriage is the it's the biggest sacrament of them all. It's the one that is the most sacred of all of them, because it's a union between you and your wife that can lead to procreation, that can lead to family building within God's image. So, why can't that be experienced in other formats, for one? And for two, really? we're going to use that theory whenever right now the United States divorce rate is probably above 50%? Is it really all of that sacred? And I can guarantee you this. Out of that 50% that's getting divorced, not all of them are Christian, but a lot of them are. Potato, potato. Explain that, I guess, but you don't have to. I guess what I'm getting at with all of this is that if you're wondering why you feel like you're under attack, if you're wondering why you feel as though the numbers game is starting to turn against you and kind of go against your favor, it's probably, and in fact I would say 75 to 80% of it is the fact that you only have yourselves to blame. If I were to make a suggestion as to how you make the religion a bit more of an inclusive, a bit more of a welcome idea, is to be just that, be inclusive and be welcoming. Everybody is meant to be saved in God's image. That is exactly what you say. Everybody should have that chance to be saved. But now all of a sudden there are certain people that need to renounce lifestyles and things like that. That doesn't seem very right, especially whenever these lifestyles are not really mentioned very often amid the governing bylaws. And it just seems like a lot of this rhetoric is being sort of made up on the spot in order to serve an agenda and prove a point that doesn't need proving. There's also a lot of individuals that want to use this to elevate their political campaigns, and they probably seem like your buddy and pal, but beyond the fact that they're a Christian, you better look and see the other things that they're spouting. Especially if you're a female. Make sure that you're looking to see what exactly these people say that you can and can't do with parts of your anatomy. But that's another story for another day. This is kind of difficult for me to say, but 20 years as a Roman Catholic has taught me, peace be with you, and treat others the way you wish to be treated. If you really want to know why there has been so much in the way of departure, if you really want to know why it seems like other religions are starting to catch up, either that or it seems like a lot of people seem to be leaving the parish, or the church just doesn't seem all that filled up on Sundays. Yes, there's a lot of apathy that is a part of that. I can almost guarantee you that. There's a lot of laziness. America is a lazy, lazy country. You guys don't want to hear that, but it's true. We're a lazy, apathetical country that needs to collectively get that lazy stick out of our asses and stand up, go to work, and build something great. Build an America we can be proud of. But a lot of it will also be based around the rhetoric. A lot of it will also be based around the fact that the place just doesn't seem all of that inviting. It doesn't seem all of that safe. It seems like there's a lot more personal agenda, personal motive, and personal belief coming out rather than the belief of a collective faith. A couple weeks ago, there was a bus accident that took place in Georgia that involved two bands. I am a heavy metal or a music reviewer, whichever you wish to really classify me as, because I do both. And these were two bands of the black metal persuasion. A couple people died, a couple were injured, and it was reported by one of the local news outlets, of which some of the Christians decided that it was a-okay to say that they were glad that they were dead, that they deserved it based around the music that they made, and that they would be punished for eternity based around it. Even though these people had families, were probably fantastic parents, either that or fantastic husbands or boyfriends, these guys just making a living, these guys just performing for a crowd in the entertainment industry, but they deserved it based around the fact that they were in a black metal band and they weren't in a Christian rock band. And this was something that was very directly said. It caused a lot of harm, but I will also say this. There were a lot of very good Christians, a lot of people that truly embrace ideas such as treat others the way you want to be treated, that came on board after that and showed true remorse, that showed true regret, that showed true sorrow for the passing of these individuals, true sorrow toward this event happening. and denouncing and decrying those that made these horrible statements. It's like I said, it's not all of you. It truthfully is not. But you need to understand that the 1%, or really even the 0.1%, the extreme ones, the ones that go way too far with these ideas and this rhetoric, this very venomous, very dividing rhetoric against individuals, whether they be just musicians that don't sing about Christ, or whether they be gay, or whether they not be. That's one of the big reasons why people aren't walking through the doors. It's one of the big reasons why a lot of people are turned away, why that apathy starts to show up. It puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I have to look at myself just the same as I insist that you look at yourselves. We all have to look at ourselves collectively as a people, not just as a people that has a theology in our life, but as a people in general, considering America right now is a very divided nation, one that seems to not have a clear-cut direction, not really know where it's going. And by the way, that's got jack and shit to do with who's in office. It doesn't matter if it's Obama that's been in office for the past 6 years, or if it was George Bush, 6 years before that, or if it would have been John McCain, or if it would have been Mitt fucking Romney. I can guarantee you this, if it were Mitt Romney, chances are we'd be even more fucked than we are now, so shut up. Doesn't matter who's in office, doesn't matter what the overall turmoil of the world is, doesn't matter what terrible, terrible things happen, such as the Boston Marathon Massacre or Sandy Hook. This was a country that was already on its heels. This was a country that already had an identity crisis that needed solving. It's something that 9/11 was able to perhaps help restore for about 30 days, and then immediately it became a clusterfuck. It went right back and reverted to where it was prior to that, and in fact, got 10 times worse. We collectively as a people have to look at ourselves and see how we can be just a little bit more inclusive. See how we can be just a little bit better of individuals. We need to see how we can reunite a lot of those bridges that we've burnt down based around our rhetoric. And one of the things that I think is going to start that is the way in which we talk to one another on social media and the way in which we talk to one another in the real world. I can guarantee you this, here in 2015, we do one of it a whole hell of a lot more than we do the other. And it's the first one, not the second. This is a time in our lives where we need to unite a little bit. That's not just for America, that's also for Christianity. Unite a little bit. Be accepting. Personally, if I were a pastor, I would accept everybody. And if you were a parishioner and that troubled you or upset you, there are other parishes in the area. You can go there. You have my blessing. Because I'm not going to discriminate. I'm not going to disallow somebody entry if my theology and my message is one of love. Because denial of entry, whenever my message is one of love, is a bit of an oxymoron. I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that case. Notice the hypocrisy here. Notice the oxymorons here. And yeah, that was deliberate. Peace be with all of you. I mean that from the bottom of my soul. Peace be with all of you. I think of all of you very often. I think of this world. I think of where it's gone and where it's been and the path in which the future may give us. But if you think that you're under attack whenever you still have the majority, if you think that you're under attack based around the fact that a couple people are leaving a day, maybe it's not time to attack those people. Maybe it's time to look into the mirror collectively and attack the problem. Just a thought.